Awapai in central Hawke's Bay is a 1,700-hectare hill country property running sheep and some cattle. It's a ram breeder for Focus Genetics and a member of Farm IQ. Manager Shane Tilson has been working on changes to pasture composition on Awapai for the past 5 years. It's produced faster finishing and better yields on lambs and benefits to other stock classes as well.
We are a breeding property, so the key focus is on reproduction, breeding reproduction, and that goes right through from mixed stage ewe performance right down to really trying to maximise hogget growth rate and hogget breeding performance. When the ewes start cycling and we have the rams on board, there is an absolute key element to keep the nucleus primera flock away from flock rams. A huge amount of detail goes into the rotation planning around that period for mate mobs and mate efficiency, basically. Rogue rams are just a nightmare. It's just our worst case scenario. So yeah, quite a comprehensive time of the year is that period. Environment's obviously our number one challenge, there's no doubt about that. It's a really well-balanced farm physically. We've got really easy country into some steeper faces. The steeper faces are quite fragile, so we have to be a little careful what we do with them, grazing management, certainly during the dry periods. This area of Hawke's Bay probably used to be considered summer safe. I don't think any part of New Zealand is now summer safe. We don't have a cold winter, so it's quite a balanced climate. We sit on 1,300 to 1,400 mils of rainfall a year that is evenly spread. Unfortunately, as the rest of New Zealand, the last 2 to 3 to 4 years, evenly spread seems to be 200 mils of rain 1 week and then 4 weeks without anything. So, yeah, it's a changing environment, isn't it? This is coming into its 4th year of plantain clover. We're really impressed. A comment I'd make right now is that what we're seeing right now is very different to what we saw this time last year. The percentage of clover has just gone through the roof this spring. I think the plantain numbers are still the same, the plant population is still the same, but the percentage of clover in the forage is way more than what it has been. I believe it fits us because we've developed a system to fit the forage. On the other flip side to that, we've found a forage that suits the system that we need to do it. We have 2 key stock classes that we have to get to certain weights. The Primera ram lambs, for example, we have a contract to meet with them for ram hogget sales. So we have to have a guaranteed summer high protein, high live weight gain forage available for those guys from weaning through to sale in March. And then the second one is our commercial ewe lamb production. There's been a huge amount of experimentation go on here. We've had the plantain moth. We had the moth last year. Interesting enough, they didn't do a lot of damage. We had it growing very strongly at that time, and I felt that it was outgrowing the moth, essentially. We then got a thunderstorm and the moth disappeared. We're lucky we haven't got root weevil, clover flea. There's a bit of that damage floating around. Nutrients, we feed this stuff. This is a massive area of production for us. It's giving us huge results, therefore we've made a real commitment to really feed it, and Mark from Balance is right on board with us with that. We've used foliar applications of nitrogen and sulphur, foliar applications of calcium. This spring, Mark did some nitrogen testing for us because we just felt with the amount of clover in here now, there was a change going on, so we just didn't want to keep firing in on it for no apparent reason. We're focusing on now is persistency of this forage, and we see grass as our biggest enemy in here. So yeah, the ryegrass is this stuff's biggest enemy. Ryegrass, brown top, all our other native grasses. If we can keep them out of this sward, then there's no reason this stuff can't just keep going. Today's the Primera nucleus flock weaning day. It's a bit different to our normal weaning. Normal weaning of the commercial flock for us is as many lambs off mum onto the truck as possible. We had a unit load of them go out first thing. It's a pretty simple operation, really. It's all based around the EID recording that we're running on the farm. So today it's a simple draft off mum and get a weaning weight. And at the same time, the information that was collected at docking time on sex is coming up on the screen. And it's our opportunity to check that we have actually got that sex right. The Primera is a composite terminal. It goes back to the Resultant breed line. The Focus Genetics people are using the SIL index to basically find animals from other studs in New Zealand or from within our own system, or even looking at overseas as to what we can bring in to maximise growth opportunities in these lambs. The last 3 years, everything onto Plantain has had an EID ear tag in it, whether it's a bull calf, or a Primera ram lamb, or even our own new hoggets. They've all had an EID. So we're collecting total information, weights on, weights off, out of the Plantain system. The figures, and this is all Farmax figures, Farmax, and we had a season with Farm IQ, so it's pretty genuine figures. Last year, total production, kilograms of meat per hectare off our Plantain system came to 735 kilos of meat, or of carcass weight / live weight grown per hectare of Plantain. So at a $6 schedule, which we're all looking at the moment, both beef and lamb, this really starts to stack up.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.